But they look, I don't. I don't feel what I recall.
Maybe my face skinnier.
How did that happen? Did it happen?
No. It probably went the other way.
You know, running too?
Round and round the hall.
Yeah, up and down the hall. And my hamster wheel in my head.
Just oil it, will you? I'm tired of squeaking when you go by.
All right, then, 7 o'clock, I'd like to call order this committee of the whole meeting, 7 o'clock for the 10th today. Are there any deletions or any additions, and changes to the agenda anybody has?
Mr. Mayor, as please, ministerial order, MSC 044/22.
Okay.
And add please, so I'll put that in my report, I'll add that to my report. Add, senior complex repaving. And so,
What number is that?
that would be 3 point, sorry, that would be 3.8.
8?
8 is a ministerial order.
3.9. And Mr. Mayor, we need to postpone or delete 3.3. Our USCSS coordinator is unwell. I didn't do it. Delete 3.3, but she will come next meeting. She sent her.
Does anybody have anything else?
Well, I move to adopt the agenda with the 2 additions and table 3.6.
You, all in favor? That is carried. All right, so the first order will be the council reports. First under the gun. So I'd just like to report on the, obviously on 24th, like everybody, we got a budget meeting here, finalized the budget. And on April the 27th, I attended the Leduc Regional Leadership Forum for the mayors. It was a virtual meeting. City of Leduc, Leduc County, Beaumont, Devon, Calmar, Warburg, and Thorsby were all in attendance. Everybody had a few minutes. It was allowed for 4 hours, but actually it was only like 2 hours meeting. Didn't really go that long at all. Leduc is breaking ground on a new high school on the west end by the fire hall. You guys saw that. We had a 1% tax increase. Devon didn't have anything to report other than that they had a 3.9% tax increase. Beaumont is fiber optic. They installed throughout the whole town. They have a 2.4 tax increase. Calmar, they talked about their Calmar days, August 19th, 21. They also mentioned, I didn't put it down here, but they want to put a vote to a parade here on the weekend. Get rid of them. They had a 2% tax increase. When it came to myself, I talked about our synopsis on the grant for water for life, what its purpose was, and all the communities, and actually it was well received. A few questions about it. And then all parties talked about the possibility of sharing services. And I think, Corey, that's something that you're talking about that too. And they just strengthen it, you know, like, you know, in the case that if we need a grader, and the county's got a grader, or Warburg's got a grader, instead of going out and renting one, reach out to someone that we share.
Yeah, like I said, I had some conversation with Sean and he was very.
Yep, and they all did.
Well, I think it's good, the most viable option for all of us. We can't all afford to go buy the latest and greatest, but we can.
Yep.
Each individually do some, and yeah.
That's right, and we might even extend it to some of the software and stuff like that. And I know we've been, Donna, you've been talking lots with Calmar, CEO there, and Cindy as well. We helped you with Great Plains and stuff like that. So it's really good, I think, to see that everybody's talking. Leduc Mayor, Smith, young story. He invited us to sometime in the summer, they're going to have a in-person meet and greet at the golf club in Leduc, and all the councils will be invited, whether we attend or not, but it's good that they're all talking. Then I attended the 3920 Alliance in Chalmer on April 27th. One of the big items was strategic planning. It's on the website for 2014. Been updated in 2018-19, but actually there's been no real action done on it in 2017. They've asked all the members to visit the plan and bring up any revisions to the AGM, so that goes to anybody in other councils that visit that website and look at it. If there's something they want to change or add in there, welcome to do so. All members are also to bring up budgets. They haven't done a budget yet for the May meeting. They're going to do one. Then they had Peace Officer Pasquale Leggio gave an overview of Chalmer's internet cameras for all entrances and exits in Chalmer and their function and purposes. Quite interesting. It was, he gave an hour, and it's probably about a $16,000 cut that they have. Yes. I don't want to say it's a warning, but if you're going through Chalmer, any of the entrance to that, they got you. They can tell who's in the vehicle. They can tell what shirt you're wearing. When that break-in happened that break-in when the guy pulled the money from the VOT and hotel, they identified his van because he came to Chalmer first. And they identified his van, and then they tracked it all the way went to Duke, and then it went to Devon, and then because of the cameras in Chalmer. So, I don't think it's definitely not something that we could afford. Brenton showing some interest in it, but it was a pretty good overview that he gave us. And if anybody's interested,
It's not for the radar then.
well, it has the capability to do radar. It's not doing it. But if he wants to see how many guys are speeding at 9 o'clock on Saturday night, all he has to do is look in the camera. They limited who they can use it. I believe he's the only one that does it right now, the officer. And if anybody else, they have to do like it's a pretty sophisticated thing. These things, you're not at night. It's 100% at night. It's in color. It's out there. If it's raining and snowing, it doesn't matter. So they reached out to all municipalities to the 3920, and if anybody's interested, they reach somewhere. And, they're the ones that are paying for it. Not the police thing. It's interesting.
Sounds like a nice touch.
Thorsby will be included in the video being shot by Mark Rampel. He's already come out to Warburg and done some stuff there, Chalmers and whatnot. And so we passed all the information to see Donna, hoping that he's going to come out here in the long weekend and take shots at the parade, shots at the rodeo, whatever. And all in all, probably about 15 to 20 hours of footage you'll give us. You'll condense most of it into about a 15-minute video that we can put on the website, whatever. And the other stuff we do whatever we want. This is included in the membership. Chalmer's working on the holidays. Warburg is planning to do its paving this year. Brenton, July 1st. They'll be celebrating their 55th birthday. Nobody go there. And then for Thorsby, we're planning on a pretty long weekend, Andrew Rodeo. And I will say that we were enthusiastically welcome back to the 3920 Allowance. Next meeting will be at Thorsby on the 25th. The way they work the rotation is they start at Chalmer, Thorsby, Warburg, Brenton, and back.
Posted in here?
Yes.
Restaurant?
Yes. Yeah. You might have it, but I think more likely we'll just have it. 18%. One thing that I'll bring up at the next regular meeting right now on our committee things when we did this back in October, we had myself as the destination for the 2020, and then all council as the alternate, and that's not going to work in their agreement, in their whatever their bylaws, all that. I guess by one person. So think about it on the next regular meeting. If anyone wants to step in and take that spot, and that's my report for April. Thank you very much. Any questions from anybody? All right. Next is Corey.
Yeah, so other than the normal council meeting, budget meeting, the only thing of any note was strategic planning meeting for the Regional Housing Foundation. There is an existing strategic plan, however, after the election, we turn over the board, as well as the GOA changed their approach to housing. So trying to make sure that we're taking that into consideration, trying to look to the future and what that new housing strategy may entail for the Regional Housing Foundation, and how the strategic plan works with it. So it's still a process, still in early days, but that was the only thing about out of it, budget and here.
We had I probably know it's coming up this week or next week.
Municipal conversation.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, 8:30.
There we go. I got it right. Finally.
Tomorrow, 8:30 in Ladue.
Okay, perfect. All right, John Miller.
Besides our budget session on the 24th, 20th, I had the SPSS for the county committee. We discussed our experience report from February to April. Went over all of our programs we offered and how we ended them all. We also went through success stories that were submitted by individuals for each of our departments, or each of our programs that were sent out. That was special events coming up. The mental health art gallery for the month of May here. So now, but they have to stand up for mental health on May 6th. They have Seniors Week coming up in June 5th. Elder Abuse Awareness on June 15th. Indigenous Peoples Day on June 21st, and month of June is Pride Month. Some programs will be coming up soon. I've attached the QR code to try it, but I can send it out. Look into that for programs that are going out for the summer here.
Perfect. Anybody?
All right, besides the regular meetings and the budget meeting as well, I attended the library meeting. Points noted, our Ladue County Arts and Cultural Grant was received in the amount of $700 to be used for a summer reading program. Plan of service is underway. Art show display by Lindsay Pollock will be available for viewing in the next month. The library needs a new computer and photocopier and printer. The purchase will be made once the budget is approved. A Wi-Fi hub is available for loan to patrons with library membership. A grant to Canada Post has been submitted, and the library now has a youth volunteer. And the library volunteers have been invited to the volunteer appreciation park. So I thought the hub was kind of a cool idea. So if somebody doesn't have Wi-Fi at their home and they have a library card, they can borrow the hub for a week. Internet at home for a week. I think it's 1 week. That is my report.
Questions on that? Okay, I will take the liberty of reading Kelly Ash's report for who wasn't here today. Month of April, she attended the council meeting here the 5th, 19th, 26th, the budget meeting on the 24th. Public relations, seniors bingo, she attended as a volunteer for April 7, 14, 21. Easter event, April 9th, complex. Met with the CID Spirit of Thorsby and ASB Fine fundraising event. 4th. Vertical Society Pancake Breakfast, April 30th. Vertical Society Pierogi Lunch, 1st. Vertical Society Market, April 30th. I worked on 5 application forms for the Jubilee and acknowledgement. April 22nd.
And she would have attended the same library. Meeting? Oh, maybe she was, pardon me. She was there. Okay, never mind.
All right. Let's see, this week we'll do all of this, So, volunteer appreciation update. Theodore, you up to that?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our the planning is going well, and the administration has assigned our legislative clerk, Jesse Carlton, to assist with the committee, and in keeping with Grace, I'm going to turn it over to Carlton.
So, Volunteer Appreciation Committee is a volunteer appreciation event, and we would like to provide a progress report. The town is hosting volunteer appreciation picnic with the help of Trevor on off-state in Taylor Park on May 26th, 2022, in honor of our volunteer group. As of May 10th, significant progress has been made towards the event, including the nominated to successfully acquiring the $500 grant from Alberta. We've reached out to local community groups, and we've acquired, as of now, 41 registrations, 7 guest attendees, and 4 staff workers. This doesn't include any council members who would like to attend. With public works systems, we've set up a fire pit that abides by fire regulations. And we'll have to do. There's access to a barbecue for use and ample staff to work the event, so we don't anticipate any staffing issues. We've gained permission to use the parking lot after 5 p.m. In order to set up a bathroom trailer for use for Lincoln Park, so that walk all the way across the street to the office. We've secured the bathroom trailer. We've reached out to local businesses about door prizes, food, or in-kind cash donation. We've secured garbage and recycling bins for the event, thanks to Barry Rash. We've acquired extra tables from the recreation center, as well as we rented an area of the recreation center for the night of in case of any bad weather. So no matter what, if rain, snow, hail, as we know, it sometimes happens, the event will go on. We've made sure of that. We've secured use of the low boys and public works use of the stage, as well as we have a backdrop for the stage. There are tents available for use. We have a front table. We have tickets, courtesy of Carol Rental, wristbands, courtesy of Sean and Carol as well. And administration is confident that we're well on track for May 27th. There won't be any.
Excellent. Anybody have any question on that? Hopefully everybody can make that on.
Looks like there will be people there. That's a good thing.
We have too many. Such thing? All right, so, well, it's 3.4, the community cleanup. Once again, Donna, you want to do that, or is that?
No, I'll introduce it, and then I'm happy to turn it over to Mr. Rash. We're in order to clean up the town of Thorsby, or to provide leadership. That's probably a better way to say it. We're kind of organizing a community cleanup, and Mr. Rash, what's your inform council of our little idea.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just wanted to kind of go over a kind of a initiative that we are going to be implementing. So we'd like to organize a community cleanup for the town of Thorsby. Just a little background. Administration intends to host a community cleanup event where the office staff will begin cleaning up on the Hankin Street and its attached alleyways and challenge any group to a maximum of 10 people that take part in the cleanup in different parts of the community. The group who brings in the most trash bags will receive a pizza party prize registered with Pitching Canada, and our cleanup runs from April 17th to May 13th. So when you register your community, you have the ability to get some bags that people provide, either in a bright yellow or I chose clear just because you see what's in there. So those are generously supplied by Pitching Canada. And we certainly have the ability to then use their promotional material if needed, whether that be on banners or posters or what have you. The volunteer team is working with our CEO for the parade routes as well, mapping and oh, sorry.
Yes.
So anyways, yeah, I'm just talking about the cleanup. But the cleanup is something that we'd like to really do, and, you know.
So what actual date is it?
Yeah.
We haven't chosen the date yet.
So even though you got April 17th to 13th here.
So the date that we registered our community is from April 17th to May 13th,
Which is this Friday.
which we made a whole month. But because this kind of initiative came in last, we can kind of select. So they're not going to hold us account to a date if we run a little bit over. Yeah. Normally, they only do it in a week, but we chose to expand it a little bit, give everybody a little opportunity to choose from.
Have it in the target this week.
Okay, that's my question.
Yeah, if it's done on Friday, I don't know that anyone's gonna.
Not enough time to start cutting.
Yeah.
It's,
Can we extend that date 1 week, just so it doesn't look?
I was starting to get, an amendment to the report? Is that what you mean, Counselor?
No, the April 17th to May 13th, if we extend it, say, to May 20th, just for the advertisement purpose.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
The target, because otherwise everybody will agree it's over, isn't it?
I just wondered if I could put a public works committee together, this works 7 bags every Friday.
So you'll get honorable mention.
You've got already a good side of it.
Okay, anything else, any questions on that cleanup? Sounds good. So they, what are they gonna do with the bags when you're just gonna collect them?
Yeah, I'm hoping for the steps to grow, we can just locate them in their pit. That's all. Possibly there, or if we flow over and we have lots, we have, it's also at the rec center, so.
I charge $1 per bag.
Yeah, I this kind of goes into this a little bit. I just I had a call from one of the residents for glass, recycling glass, like jars and stuff like that.
Can I, sorry. May I
Yeah.
answer
Oh,
that?
absolutely. Go ahead.
That's actually a concern that's come up to me as well. I found out that they do not recycle glass in Alberta at all.
Right.
It's a very slow process at the moment, but I am looking into possibly doing our own in-house recycling of glass, potentially recycle it to in exchange for our sand.
Yeah, maybe if you can just pursue that. The resident I talked to wasn't a mechanic, but, got a bunch of jars and stuff and can't put it in, just didn't know what to do with it, right?
I'm running out of nuts and bolts to throw into my glass. So,
But Leduc accepts glass at the recycle.
they do, but it doesn't actually get recycled.
That's for your,
Goodwill, jars.
Yeah, they'll recycle them.
Okay, well, if you'll pursue that and then at a later date, come back. You come up with something, and if there's something we can do in-house, it's probably what we're gonna have to do. We're ready for that. Okay, 3.5, name on together. Once again, I guess I'll turn it over to Donna to introduce it and go from there.
thank you, Mr. Mayor. So a great group of community volunteers under the leadership of Ms. Shauna from CE Media is putting together the parade. They will be getting entrance, They came to see us to see if they needed a permit, and we don't have a fees and services charge, but I will issue a permit so that the map attaches. So we've been working with them on the mapping, the routing, where to put the barricades, who's manning the barricades for safety purposes, and we sent that map off to the fire this morning, and they've reviewed it all except for the one DC that requires a look at it, but they're very pleased to be asked that we had a map, and pleased to be asked for their opinion to make sure we're all safe and make sure that the route is safe and effective. The staging is where they want it, and we're asking to put something in the parade as well. And Sean and I are working on making sure that the fire truck isn't too close to the horses, and all those kinds of things, right? I'll be attending the parade. I'll, two people lead off the parade, and then our bylaw car will be in the parade. I'll ride with there in the bylaw car, and we'll start wearing Western gear next week with the town. So it's a great group of volunteers. A lot of good work's been put into it already on short notice, and I think it'll be a lot of fun.
And what day is the parade on?
Saturday at
Saturday.
So if they went back to Saturday.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Is council considering participating in the parade? Like, can we discuss that at this moment, or I thought that was what that 3.5 was about then.
We certainly can. We hope you want.
So I don't. It's not my parade, it's just my thought of, are we participating?
You can put you on the bylaw card.
Yeah. Mayor Hostin, are you partaking?
Well, I hope to be here. I think I'm the weekend, and I haven't got any ideas. Andrew, you got any ideas?
We still have the fire truck. I'm actually hoping to be able to, whether it's a trailer maybe to go to the front, on the ground, the trailer, get it around.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, maybe
So
I'll,
then the possibility is that we could ride on.
maybe I'll pass it around, talk to Andrew, and then
Ray, are you doing your own float, or are you sitting?
I'm gonna wait to see what happens. Yeah, like I say, I haven't heard anything, so I haven't made any plans. I don't know what's going on.
Let me know if I have to get a cowboy.
So Saturday, maybe.
Yeah, I believe it's what the Valerie is saying.
That's May the 22nd.
No, May 21 is good.
All right, let's see what we can do. 3.6. Battery energy electrical charging. And I got this thing, and I think everybody has. I've got one of yours on it, but I'll let you.
Oh, sure, Mr. Mayor, and this is for council's information and discussion. We noticed administration has no recommendations or no thoughts on it, but Government of Canada, Alberta, providing millions of dollars for investments in electrical vehicle EV charging stations, and the Action Center for Ambi Energy is offering $3.4 million in rebates for municipalities to build charging infrastructure on first come, first served basis, and intensively local trades and other professional services in all aspects of the installation process that will cover 100% of the cost. So it's not going to cost us anything. We just have to apply, and their entire presentation is attached for you, how they do the site acquisition, their charging solution, their network, how they repair, maintenance, how they do site acquisition, and we have to do something with that with respect to site acquisition, administration, and then council chooses to move forward. And of course, anything to do with planning and revenue and that sort of thing, smart charging. And so basically, should council decide to move forward with this, then we would contact them and begin the work with them, or we would just say not at this time. Sure. So.
Does anybody have any comments? I looked at it and I just, although it's a good thing, I think it's more of a marketing point for these guys to get their foot in the door and make some money for themselves with the company. I looked at it. I know they're playing on the fact that the government will give you grants to put it in, but they're the ones that are gonna do it, right?
But it's a charging station at no charge.
I don't know that.
I believe we have enough large priorities that we probably should not add to the burden. Nothing's free, and it will, if nothing else, occupy a significant amount of administration time, and right now there's other stuff.
I know everybody's wants to get right now. Anyhow, that's for discussion. Anybody wants to pursue it any farther, then we can bring it back to the. That's all I have to say about that. Okay. Well, you have the 37, 39, 28 alternate, but we really can't vote on that today, right?
No, we can, you've indicated, Mr. Mayor, for council to think about its information and proffer their, about it.
Yeah. Like I said, if anybody's interested, we'll put their name up on the next meeting.
What days and times are those meetings?
It's 7 o'clock and it's the last. Last Wednesday of every month. But we don't have to send two.
Just as an alternate.
Just an alternate in case I make it. Okay, 3.8, ministerial order.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. We received this yesterday morning from Minister of Municipal Affairs Rick McIver, order number MSD 044-22. And what that does is allow the town of Thorsby to have extended its audit time to September 30th, 2022, to which we have to have all the financial statements in, the time to make it available to the public, the summary of them, the auditor's report, and everything has to be in by September 30, 2022. The financial information return, the auditor's report, and the auditor's report on the financial. So this is like getting a speeding ticket, but it's also a big sigh of relief so that we can get this done. It was signed on May 3rd, and so we do have to make this deadline. We have no choice. And make this deadline.
Comments, questions on that? 3.9.
Oh, right, sorry. We're meeting, okay, so we're meeting tomorrow with the seniors, for paving their parking lot. And our engineer is going to be there as well as their contractor, the paving contractor. Because we do have to have some engineering potentially done on sight lines and so forth, so that they don't pave over infrastructure. I know it's a gravel road, but we do have to make sure in case down the road that we have that right. So we don't have to redo it. We don't have to redo this again. The engineer's going to take the site elevations and so forth. The seniors are very desirous of this. Ken and I have had quite a few meetings, and they've been good, and they're pretty excited about it. They're put a light pole in the center and a few things. So that is entirely up to them. It's our job just to make sure the grading and elevation and so forth are right, so that it doesn't interfere with our future infrastructure. Couple things they've asked me. One thing is, depending on how council wants to go with this, it'll have our engineer there to make sure everything is right. It'll cost us $3,000. And the seniors wish their development permits to be waived. Now, their zoning is zoned as institution, and so we don't have development permit fee for institution. So there's really no fee for them, but we will require development permit from them for the paving and for the parking. So it's a parking diagram because it's institutional. There's certain parking rules within the land use bylaw. Basically, for institutional, it's places of public assembly, it's 1 per 5 feet. So minimum number. So we'll have to look at how we lay the lines and everything. We just have paint that according to the land use bylaw. And Ken is aware of that and is fine with that. But he just, if there was a development fee, wanted it waived, but we've researched it and there isn't one yet, so we bring the fee to the street. However, there is a $3,000 engineering bill that we do have in the budget $5,000, and we extended $1,000, roughly 1,200 of it, I think. So it depends if you want to split the bill with them, if you want to pay for the engineering bill, the grant, etc. Ken wanted this brought forward, this is not me bringing it forward. We discussed it.
I think the biggest issue is going to be on the elevation, what the other street, that develops, so you can't have it 6 feet above the other street, but the biggest problem is going to be from the edge of the parking lot comes to where the allowance for the power poles are and stuff. Now from there to the edge of the street, you've got probably what an 8-foot gap. What do you put in there?
If I remember the drawing correctly, Mr. Mayor, he has a letter of easement from.
Yes.
Yes.
That's to the north.
Yeah, that's the north. Yeah.
But from the seniors to going east of the street, you know, I mean, if you put, they're only going to pave to the edge of their property, which basically it lines up with power poles, right? And then you've got not really a ditch, but you've got a low spot there where the water's going to take away, right? And that's something that I hope that was Ken and the other seniors that were concerned about it. And I get it, because you can't have parking lot, street, and then you got a 1.5 rise to the parking lot. It's just not going to work. Something has to be done. On an engineer, but it's something that, you know, I think for that reason, we really need the engineers to look at it.
Here it'll be up with. We certainly can, yeah. Seniors want to get paving as fast as possible. I understand that.
Well, I think they want to schedule it for June.
They do, and so that's right. We have time to discuss it from here. I indicated.
It has to be done. I mean, the Shane's going to have to spend their, you know, I don't know, they've got grant money for the parking lot. They spend a lot of money, and then you can't drive in the parking lot.
That's right. And we discussed that in our last meeting with Ken, and he gets it. His understanding of it. And he's quite excited to see what's going to come of it. We just can't do it without engineering. And their paving company is going to be there as well, so that our engineer can indicate to them what we need to do. Once we get that report from the engineer, happy to bring it back at the end of the month. Now let's do.
I think if they can help us out with the $2,000 fee, that would be ideal. Considering we just helped them out with the big machine not too long ago. Spending money that's not.
Mr. Mayor, just to add, not to this particular, but another small issue is the hall requires Wi-Fi. there's another potential decision point for us, or something that's indicated a sharing or a send back.
I would suggest, in all fairness, we do give them a annual grant for upkeep and whatever they need to do it on. They are a autonomous operating group, but we do give them a grant annually for such things. If they want to install infrastructure so as that they can piggyback off of our Wi-Fi or whatever to save themselves an ongoing utility bill, sure. But I think they need to budget it as part of their capital plan, so to speak. That is what that grant is there for.
And otherwise, maybe leave it to 2023 as consideration.
Yeah, they need additional over and above their grant. Well, yeah, they've already got their grant for the year. I don't know why budget's done and they know what their budget is, and if they can make it work, great. If they need more money, well, we have to. But,
You can't keep tweaking.
yeah.
No, that's where we're bringing all this to. We're not asking for a full.
Well, yeah, like I say, it seems, like I say, if they can afford it, great. If they can't, well,
Get a library card and we have for a week.
well, I mean, it'd be far cheaper for them to just put internet in the bill. It'd be a significant, but then they have an ongoing bill, right? The $4,000 is that they can save an ongoing utility. They want to save that ongoing utility cost, well, yes, it's upfront capital, whichever they want to do, but that's their decision as far as my thinking goes.
Administration has no issue with that. We can advise.
All right. What's the, like, taking a motion to just accept, 2.1 to 2.9? All in favor? It's carried. Next order, 4.1, CEO report for April. David Donna, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Another busy month in April. Kudos to the CFO. I've done most of the heavy work to accomplish the budget presentation, build the budget. Both of us have spent a lot of hours tracking grants, receipts, reports for the projects that were funded by the government of Alberta through various programs. Two more grants were reconciled, and only because the government had sent a reminder that they were 5 months overdue in reporting. We didn't know they needed reconciliation. Government had an old email, and that's fine. Municipal red tape reduction project was one of them. Apparently in 2020, all the boxes were ticked that we'd done a lot of red tape reduction, and the grant had me verify that all the 2020 red tape reduction initiatives that were reported on the report were done, and I have to say they were not. So we provided 2 new initiatives for the 2021 year, and so we sent that in, and government accepted it. We indicated that that's changes and so forth, and we're restarting some things, and the 2 things that we put on our report that streamlined processes were being the new development processes that are now in accordance with the MG requirements and a better business license application format. So we just had to reconcile that grant. The Horseshoe grant has had its amendments submitted to the province for approval regarding the change of project from main replacement to paving overlay. And if that is accepted, we'll have sign off from the province, and there will be no further issues with that. And just some of the highlights, as you know, I just mentioned working with Mr. Coffinoff and the senior group to make sure their paving project falls in line with the town's expectations, re-infrastructure, and the permits in place. Meetings are going very well, and we're moving forward to kick off meetings on the 11th with the contractor, our engineers, and their steering team. Michaela Leibel, who is going to join us this evening, has been hired as the new FCSS coordinator and is already in her new office in the rec center. And of course, the first project will be to get to know the community, the volunteer appreciation event, start building a needs assessment so that the programming fits our community. In June, we'll start advertising for the board, the advisory board. In July, we'll present the application to council for appointment, and they'll be ready to start first week of September as the advisory board. We've been, our staff team member, Jesse Carlson, was assigned to work with the community volunteers to create a volunteer appreciation event. The report has been presented at the meeting this evening, and she's doing a great job and working with the community team. We've been working on projects with our engineers, which will be updated in camera. This meeting will be updated. Shirley and myself are actively working with the Sub-Regional Emergency Management Group, and the first meeting was held on the 27th April, and so we're putting all the facets together of it, and that includes Kalmar, Warburg, Brett, so County. We finalized the fire service contract passed by council, and building relationships with them. We have robust meetings with them, and we will deliver those signed agreements this week. We'll deliver them in person. We finalized the outstanding recreation payment at the last council, and we are establishing a great relationship with the county. The office is constantly busy. Residents are now understanding that they can come many times without an appointment to chat, and they do. We always have something great to say or something they need some help with. Visitors have included Councillor Belozer, Emily Smith, the Haymaker Rodeo, Perry. Residents have brought in their concerns about roads, how do we build potholes, can you change my signs, help me understand taxes, what is the CAO, how to focus on community development, and that takes up lots of great hours in a day. So the door is always open, and we spend the time with them. Bylaw Officer Rash and I met with the Catholic Church to ascertain their thoughts on the current cemetery bylaw and how it fits in with their consecrated ground at the cemetery, and to update them on our cemetery contractor. And I hope that council has a chance to look at that cemetery because it's looking pretty darn good. That young contractor is doing a great job. We've been liaising with the Spears Committee, Retailer Park, and thank you very much to our public works team that helped them rearrange the gazebo and the picnic tables around, the planters around, etc. We're visiting various businesses and reconnecting them with the town. Last visit was to, I just drew a blank, Lone Wolf Mechanical, I'm sorry, Lone Wolf, and had a great visit with Jim. Development permits have been revamped with our contract planner so that we are MCA compliant, and over the summer we must bring up our land use bylaw to meet those requirements. I have to bring up to speed with respect to the municipal government amendment. There's lots of notes and stuff with the land use bylaw, but we haven't noticed that we had a public hearing or that it's been passed. So not a huge task, but necessary, so we'll be working on that. And two last things is that that I didn't put in my report, that we're going to advertise for the Regional Assessment Review Board if council wishes to renew the agreement, and we do have to advertise in that because council is they don't really want council on board, they want community members, and we must select at least 2 individuals to be board members. The MGA stipulates only 1 council member may serve on each appeal. It's preferred that public members do, and I can indicate from being the chair of the SCAB and Leduc, it's easier if council aren't on these kinds of review boards, because it's too hard on council to go on. So if council wishes to renew this agreement, it is sitting here, and we will certainly look for 2 community members that council will appoint. Administration does appoint those positions. And as you can see in my report, there's an addition. We have all the council motions tracking sheets from January to now. You can see that they're all complete with the exception of the motion by Councillor Gilbert to request to provide tax and utility monthly statements from administration, only because we just couldn't print it.
We tried.
We tried really hard to print it tonight. So that's why it's in yellow, and we indicated the council would get these quarterly, and you now have them. So that is the interim CEO's report. I'll stand down with questions.
Thank you. Questions from the CEO? 4.2, bylaw reports for April.
Mayor and Council, for the month of April, I was following up on the following count. So reviewing all company reviews associated with bylaws, review the business application forms, review and business bylaw 2001-03, contractor, not maintained, but it's a new contractor. Collected 10 more business licenses in April. Alerted the Thorsby Junior Senior High School for property theft, just in regards to offense that was a section offense that was taken all on the property. Continue to answer ongoing questions around building fences, trees, decks, permitting, residents, realtors, residents inquiries, answer inquiries, continue to answer inquiries on dogs, cats, patrolling community and documenting areas that require addressing, educating residents and diseases where they park, educating residents for working with the media to digitize all the maps, endorsement, that is complete. And now we are just working with the churches to pull them all together to get feedback on the Christmas bylaw, if there's any required amendment. And then once we have those amendments, we are going to look at the maintenance agreement that I found dated 1972. That requires obviously updating and to meet together to discuss in early June. Working with joint partners in the community to identify unmaintained property. And I can specify a little bit more to that. The Duke Foundation had their sign at half even that was see better days. And so the foundation is supporting their current sign even, and we will be coming up with a new design in the near future. So if you see the sign missing, it's coming out today. They will be coming back to us with a new look in the very near future when we come up with the look that we want. And then documenting, currently I'm documenting all the TELUS transfer boxes that are in disrepair in the community. Some of them have been backed into. Some of the doors won't close. Some of them have a lot of rust on them and just look horrific. So I've already had lengthy conversations with TELUS. Find out it's going to be a very long and run-on process, but I'm committed to holding them more accountable to how they look. So stay tuned for that.
Also change your phone plan, let alone a whole phone box.
I'm not going to lie, the conversation that I had was they only cared that there was internet connection to the business. They didn't really care that the box was out of they're in disrepair. So it's going to be fun.
Chairman, if you happen to get a hold of it, I'm sure everybody else is going to find it down across 50,000. We're on the pre-meeting for them to fix that.
And then as Mary Council can see, some of the numbers that are coming in, you're going to see some jobs that are new. Quite active in the community. We have always started from our work like yesterday. Things like back alley, or where residents are using the back alley for parking. So we're probably going to do a little bit of notification in the paper and enforcement. And I will be working also with some residents that require some just general cleanup and some and then obviously some branches that are more sidewalks. So yeah, those are my numbers there, and here to answer any questions.
So you got 10 complaints about unsightly property?
Normally it's a neighbor upset about another neighbor, tree branches. Small issues, but they turn into big issues at all.
And Barry, going back to the cemetery maps that are being digitized, so does that mean each plot is given a family name? And
So when all the churches have their own paper copy, and those paper copies are free, and so they just don't last. So the plan is to digitize them. So we had them created at the media, and we're going to give them banner material, which can be rolled up then we'll have our own copies here for the office and for Public Works. And the plan is that we meet once or twice a year to document what is taking place over the year, so that we know where we stand for
What's available, the land available.
It also maps out, thanks, Mr. Rush. It also maps out the veterans that are in the graveyard. There's our CMP buried there, so we're gonna work with the cemetery group. The flags there. Just kind of mark them a little bit. So, yeah, thank you for that.
The cemetery is coming along.
Yeah.
Stay tuned on that.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Public Works, Andrew.
Evening, Mayor and Council. For the month of April, attended the council budget meeting, 24th. Doing a daily meeting with the staff members of Public Works. Take each of the lots of meeting, same thing. Addressing concerns as they're reported. Basically, enough. A lot of my concerns are loading utility outlet boxes on the hydro pole. So grateful that it's simple. Fixing and replacing valves. Of course, end of the winter season, a lot of TP valves that heat up and off. Put it back down. Service and repairs on equipment. Continue working on the budget to try and drop my costs down as much as possible. Working on cleaning up the Public Works building and compounds. There's been a lot of previous unnecessary supplies left in our compounds, so they're basically filled with dirt. Dirt and road. Trying to get that stuff removed. We did a structural investigation at location here on Hankin Street. That's been forwarded through. Working on a layout and planning for angle parking on the west side of 49th Street, north of 49th, so on the west side of River Valley. So notice that there's signs up now that say angle parking. Trying to utilize the street more, actually get more people part of the street. Assess damages at sewer lagoons due to deadfall on the fences. There's a lot of trees that are dead in that area that have all fallen over our trees. As far as I can tell, there's no severe damage at all. Gravel road assessment plan of action for when crosses underground. We're very grateful this year we have not had much for cross oil, so fairly easy. The boys were working back out today. So the gravel filled in the bubbles. Cold mix for potholes. I never seen a shipment of that.
You put some in today already.
Yeah, the boys have been working on that, trying to get as much as they can done. Which is a great sign. I know my team appreciated coming into town And town cleanup. I have two 30-yard bins being delivered for May 24th. They'll be here from May 24th to the 31st. This will be posted in Target for residents' use. We have one of our own bins. It's a little bit smaller, but I'm actually going to separate the metal, get them to separate the metal and the chemicals and paint and stuff like that. So we'll actually have a still area for chemicals and paint so it doesn't impact the environment.
People bring the items to the bin.
Yeah. We'll have everything clearly displayed, what goes into what bin. They make it nice and easy. Get everything all cleaned up. These bins will be located on the north side of the road by West. Right where our, right where our grass dump. And street sweeping. Providing the snow and rain stops pestering us. We're hopefully looking at closer to the end of next week. That will be postponed per day as the rain and
Weather permit.
And that is the completion of my report.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions for that?
Anyone wondering, is there whether there's some trucks going forever?
For the cost of it, for the cost of us popping down there on a daily basis, just checking it versus having somebody man it. It's the company that I'm using is like, or whatever you want in there. So we'll try and keep it separated. Do our part in recycling what we can, but for the most part.
Where you guys hauling the clippings from?
I actually utilized that up at our lagoon. So that was something that was started last year. We leveled all the plateau up there. And I'm actually hoping to get my own compost there for use back.
Thank you. Any other question? Next. Sorry.
Maryland Council, so what I've been up to lately. I just attended the community collaboration meeting there. From that, the complex and host and family friendly event following grade on the about 12 to 3. We have music coming, hired that will also hopefully be participating in aspects of the parade. Sponsorship already, we're doing operator, provider actually as well. It's going to have lots of fun activities. So hopefully the weather is beautiful. If it's not, I'll be out in the ground. If not, we're going to turn our lobby into a little party house for 2 hours. Mother's Day, we hosted a craft at the complex and came with. So Audrey actually took the lead and organized that at the tournament, and then Michaela had just started on, so we should just jump right in. We had about 15 kids registered. Even though we're into spring, I'm still very deep into the hockey season that just passed. So a big part of my project is getting the software going to build the entire hockey season from March to get all the state working. So that is 95% complete. We would just have gone out. Payments are actually coming in from the hospital association. So I have one more group that I'm working with. And so we are set up for next hockey season. So yeah, I'm planning, we've already started planning for the upcoming hockey season. I've already discussions with hockey, with the county, we're talking about regional meetings and trying to get all of our communities working together because our rates are so different between Belmont, Thorsby, Warburg. Trying to get everything kind of on the same page, so we're supporting each other versus. Oh, that's. Facility operators, so basically John, super busy cleaning up different areas in the complex, mainly upstairs, the upper viewing area. We have a lot of items that we're going to do a donation sale on the 21st, located in our arena right now. So some items are from upstairs from the structure, other things are items that were stored in that sea can. You know, cleaned out different things under the bleachers and whatnot. So we have quite an interesting array of items, and we're just going to ask for donations because the whole purpose is not been gone, but there is some value to them. So, so I will do some advertising for that. We'll have that done. The storage rooms in the upper viewing area are drywalled, and Proctor's actually already using theirs. I don't think we're going to do anything much more than just drywall and the Proctor location. But they look great. It's huge. They're more than enough for it. So it's just really looking at everything. Our field house floor, the red floor, has been a constant struggle on how it leaks and spreads and tracks on the shoes and clothing. So it was rebuilt 5 years ago. I have talked to the original installer and been back and forth, and he's actually had a meeting with John, and we're going to move the ceiling of those floors in-house. So we've just gotten the list of chemicals that we need to come to the state. He's going to bring it in. He's going to bring all the chemicals into them that we need and then ship them to us. Our small order. Yeah, we'll be able to have that now, maybe every 2 weeks. Solve that problem. Our rubber sidewalk, notice there are some damaged spots to them and repairs and whatnot. So up to that $1 and see if I just know fixing it, but
That's the public works too.
And can you remind us what their features or purpose was?
well, the concrete sidewalk underneath, the one we originally did them. But the concrete sidewalk, they needed to be ripped out. There wasn't money in the budget back then to do that. So doing this overlay was a good solution. The snow melts really fast. We have really good traction, so we have and stuff coming in. We're shoveling them. But now we need to get them fixed.
And what caused the damage? Shovel or people picking up them?
Yeah, that's the one that we can't, but as nice as it would be to have, there's no clearance and the equipment you can't do it. It's got a good snow blower or actually your backpack blowers are perfect. Just because if you grab the one year, part of the damage is still snow removal contractor. More. But it's fixable and it's not Now we're just gonna work with the government. I also applied for the SEC Expert Fund Grant. There was some further projects in that upper June area. We're lucky, we'll get it. Look at tomorrow in the map, and then the line. But we won't know what that. It's not that. Yes, I took everybody for a tour and we got lots of. It was a fun time. I did. What did you do? Well, thankfully, I didn't even have my phone on me, so thankfully, Andrew had his phone, so, and he knew somebody's phone number to phone. Casey was in the building, and came over and let us out. Yeah, it was. We still like her on. There's new lights in there now, so it's lit up.
We ran out of air, but at least we have like.
Yeah. And the plan, actually, that won't happen going forward. When the upper ceiling area will actually take that lower level off.
And is that upper area for the dance?
Yeah, so it'll be dance studio, yoga, multi-purpose fitness, like hockey, dry lunch training. We have a dance program coming back. Amazing. So she would actually like to start a competitive program, so that having that is going to be ideal. And it looks fantastic right now. It's cool to see and going. People can get over that. But that's okay. That's all. So invoicing and checking it. So I'm quietly live with our software, but not publicly live with it. But I am invoicing for facility rental, anything like that. But I'm also receiving my checks, so now I can see the deposit directly to the bank, pass the information to the or to claim. So we're making progress. The membership module for our waiting for membership and getting that going over. I am start working on that. I don't know, it's a big project too, so. Many of probably have noticed in the target, we're hiring facility attendants, so trying to get documents so we can implement the hours that council directed, and we're getting some good resumes. I've also added the position for our summer programmers. Overlap, so that'll be much better. And Casey, as Mr. Public Works, so John is wrapping up some projects that we had on the road. So we go. Not quite full time. Helping us out.
All right, well, thank you, Kelly. Anybody have any other questions? Great to see it. And last but not least, Nicole Stephen. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So in April, I reconciled the 2022 pension, as rates were lowered and got that all back on track. And now I have a process, but the amounts are right on every single month, and it will not be out at the end of the year. That's great. We'll complete the budget and presentation to council for approval. I completed a course on municipal budgeting. I reconciled the reconciling of property tax requisition accounts to determine real rates for those. Worked on the property tax bylaw. I completed more training in GP. I worked on collection of property taxes with Lisa and attempted to reconcile payments from June of 2021 from the Bank of Montreal for property taxes that was never posted. Attempting to contact PMO for clarification with zero success. As our customer service department can only need to help their customers. So I now have our bank tracing the payment to see if they can come up with which roll numbers it was for. We did try to track it through GP key, and we got a list of roll numbers that use the Bank of Montreal for their mortgage, right? And have them send it to us, but unfortunately, that number and the number we got don't jive. So I'm still trying to get those done. We have to have it done by the end of the month, or people are gonna be here that their property tax bill says years worth.
I'll let you know. if they are.
Yeah. Well, some of them we do know, but like it's frustrating because I must have spent like an hour and a half and was transferred 4 or 5 times when I called the Bank of Montreal, and they asked me if I called CRA, and I said, why would I call CRA? And they said, well, it's taxes. I'm like, no, it's property taxes. Like they had no idea what I was talking about. I was so frustrated. I processed payables for the month, organized payables, and established filing system for easy access, process of payroll, and then just council, staff, CAO, and resident requests for information.
All right. Can I get a motion to accept the CAO reports and the CFO reports for information?
I can make that motion.
Please. All in favor? That is carried. I don't think there's any other correspondence. Ladies at the back there, do you have anything you want to bring up? Any questions? Yep.
When you were reading your report, you indicated what every other town had to say about tax increases, but you did not tell us what Thorsby tax increases.
We haven't passed the bylaw yet, so.
And another thing, you guys know that when you mail any mails here now, so our water bills need to be put out sooner than you're getting them out, because you drop them off at the post office, they're sent out to the main depot before they come back to you. So if you mail a letter in Thorsby to somebody in Thorsby, it's being sent out to the mailing office and then it's rerouted back.
Is there something new? Is that something?
That's just, I found out, that I just found that out, as I went to see my
I didn't
bill.
know that myself.
And there's no water bill. I said, when did what, where's our water bill? Did they not bring them here? She goes, oh, they brought them 10 minutes ago. They're going away to them in the depot before they're done.
Oh,
Circulate through.
You know,
they count them.
They don't count. Yeah, actually, we had a meeting yesterday about a better process to get them out faster, so.
I know that if you had something to your street address, the box comes out, they'll send it back. Even if they're there for 30 years like me, they hold my box number, they won't look it up. 5010 47th Avenue. Gone.
I think it's 45 years we've done that. We forget what.
We're
Well,
in the
if I'm
same-
resistant,
we're
I put it on my box.
we're in the
No
same
junk
boat.
mail. So you can't put junk mail in my box. You get these.
Irene, you had a question?
Yes, I should have mentioned this from television. On the last meeting I attended, I mentioned that I was just concerned that the residents have closes at 4:30 on Friday. They're going to deal with that. The following week, I went into the restaurant to meet some people there that were going, and I was told they're gone. We closed the rec center up at 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. This is that.
On the weeknight,
Go ahead, Kelly.
yeah, on the weekends, at support, we're just open for specific events, so we haven't been staff. This stuff. So there was a booking, and they came and they rolled. At the link for about an hour, I think Audrey said she.
So it was a special booking is what it was?
Yeah, she tries to book multiple birthday presents, usually, so.
So
it's
so
real close.
they must have booked it previously in
Yeah,
a week.
they had called, she had some parties, she was already going to be there for some parties, and she had a gentleman call and wanted to come over. So Yeah, actually, it works. I'm still here at 3 o'clock. Going forward, once we have our staff hired, we will be open 7 to 5 at minimum, Saturday and Sunday. So,
3 o'clock on Saturday. Friday night, Friday and Saturday, kids don't go to school next week, parents probably don't go to work next week. Those could be the two busiest times at the rest of the that's okay, I understand it will be a long process. Our next issue is the bylaw officer full-time or part?
Okay, Ronnie, you want to answer that?
By law, there is full-time now.
It is full-time, I was told just recently by somebody, 2 people, one in Thorsby, one in Calmar, that he is also employed part-time in Thorsby Town Office, working on getting grants. If he's working full-time as a bylaw officer, how can he be doing that?
Mr. Mayor, through the gallery, he's not working on grants, he's, working on bylaws and working on investigative files, and that's how he goes to more information as far as the contract that the bylaw officer has with Thorsby is that we're doing coalition, and has nothing to do with, or I'm sorry, with Warburg, it's nothing to do with Thorsby at all. So, he's in the office to report, and he's in the office helping me on certain investigations that we have to do.
I understand the person from Thorsby that told me that the bylaw officer actually said that that's what it was done. Oh, I can tell you, he worked on them part-time.
Right now, I'll take that under.
Anything else?
No,
Okay. Well, I mean, the whole idea of this meeting is it's an informal meeting, and we're welcome to say whatever you want.
Their CPL, are you changing them? The water zone?
No, we're not changing them unless they're, beyond this. I have my stock of CC Bell, which is very stable.
I understood you were changing all the bricks and meters.
No, it's CC Bell, the ones that are in the ground at the, like, your yard and stuff like that, where you're pumping water on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so whatever ones have been.
It's really, it turns off your water on and off. If you want to.
It actually doesn't even do this, it's just tap, to keep it protected, so that we have access to your.
That's the one you'll see probably in the front of your lawn, whether
Yeah.
it's coming for your lawn or.
Somewhere in your lawn.
I don't know, yeah.
If there's any point in time where you're having water work done at your house, that's shut off. It's all the electric.
Okay, if there's no more further, we've got a few items for camera, so we'll, go ahead.
I had actually on, it was last, it was last, I had advertised.
There was nothing in the target box.
Up there and go to lot. I'll pass.
Okay, we'll make sure that's, and there's, what have we got in the website? Have we got anything in the website? Yes.
Yes, Mayor Hopkins, actually on our, we specifically have a page, an account dedicated to our council meeting.
Yeah.
In it, I've updated every single one to reflect our accurate meetings directly.
Make sure for a while, Mr. Mayor, that, we'll make sure it's in the target every week. I think it is, but we'll double check. Thanks for that. Appreciate that.
Is there a notification on the door by chance? Maybe a small
I think we have
poster
to
or
change
something.
it.
I think I have to change the I think first and third. I think what we'll do is going to be easier to put up a poster. I think. And then we change it back. Thanks very much for those catches. Appreciate it.
Any other business? Comments? We're here for 10 minutes for recess, and then we'll come back. John,
10 minutes.
all in favor?